Hey y'all, this is Melissa at Messy Missy Creates. I am going to finish the journal with you. I went ahead and decided to do that, although I have put together more of the pages. Here's the ones that I've already got in the journal, and then here's ones that I've already taped together. Now this one I did because it's going to just be one page folded like this. I used just a little 2-inch strip. I went ahead and found some matching washi tape instead of using the masking tape. So let's score these, and then I got off on my page count somehow, and I think it's what I'm missing is the dyed paper, so that'll be easy. I think I've got all my scrapbook paper. That's not the way I want this. This is the way I want this. So anyway, we'll finish this. I'm scoring at 7 inches because that's how wide my journal is. I may have to, I'm not sure yet. May have to trim a couple of the pages. So, but we'll see. So that was that one. This one, I went ahead and I cut down this yellow piece of paper. I kind of wish I had done washi over this, but I can always go back and washi over it later. But I'm going to trim this one. I did at 5 inches. So when I cut this yellow piece of paper, I cut 2 5-inch strips and 1 2-inch strip so that I could have a larger fold. So I'm flipping it this way and going to do a 7-inch, and I could actually do 6 3/4. You know what? I'm going to do that. 6 3/4, since this one has a flip on it. And then so that'll make that page a little bit smaller. And then this one I should have, that's going to mess up it would be 10 inches. You can't see the top of the scoreboard. Okay. It would be 10 inches. Let me see if I can, okay. I think this should give me a 4-inch, yes. It should give me a 4-inch flip. And it's going to make the page like 6 1/4 inches instead of 6 inches. Or I could do it at like 4 1/2 and have like a 3 1/2-inch flip. It's going to give me a little bit wider flip is what I wanted. So I'm going to do a 4-inch flip, which I scored at, the score line is at 10 1/4, so that's going to give me a 6 1/4 inch page. So I'm going to have a variety of sizes of paper, and that's perfectly fine with me. You know, because you can have that, right? This one piece of paper must be a hair bigger than this other one, because it's not, it's folding like it's not even on both, but it's on both ends. So this one I must have cut down a hair shorter. So anyway, let me flip this one back, and then we'll score this one in this way. Yeah. One of them I did the opposite way. Yeah, see, that's a little bit, this yellow piece is a little bit smaller than that top piece. So, but it's okay. It's just a hair. So that's what that one's going to look like. So that flip will, you know, this white piece right here, it'll be against something else that's colorful, I think. So there's one page, and then I've got 2 more ready to score. This is the one that I did differently. Here's the top. Yeah, this is what I did so that it would fold in on itself like this, because I thought this was such a pretty combination. So I'm going to score this one at 6 3/4 because I'm starting to worry about my inside pages being too long. So I'm cutting it down a little bit. And then on this side, well, I have to score, let's see, where am I at? I'm at 6 1/4, I'm at 9 1/4. So if I score at, make this a 3-inch flip, that's a 6 1/4 inch page. That's what we had initially, was a 3-inch flip. So I'm going to fold this one like this on that score line and try to get it somewhat even. Well, it helps if I fold on the score line, right? And I was trying to have some of this pre-done. So, oh yeah, I do. And so this one will fold like this. So we've got that one. That'll be really pretty on that page. This against this background. And then the inside of the flip will be white. And like I said, I can go back and add like colorful washi over that masking tape if I choose to. I've got one more of the pattern pages, and then we're going to count, and I think I've got to add some dyed paper in. So let me start this one. I don't know if this has a top and a bottom or if it matters. I don't guess it really matters right this second. So I'm going to do, I'm not doing 7, I'm doing 6 3/4 again. And these will have to be, because the inside pages are the ones that are more likely to be too long. So that's where you want, if you're going to have shorter pages, you want them on the inside, not the outside. Your longer pages can be on the outside and be fine. Okay, so right now my score line is at the 10 1/4 inch mark. So that means that I want, if I scored at the 3 inch for a 3-inch flip, I'm going to have a 6 1/4 inch flip. 3-inch flip. And a 6 1/4 inch page, right? So we did that. Okay, and like I said, I think that was all of the pattern paper. I mean, I have more pattern paper. I can break out more pattern paper if I need it. But I think that was all of that. So even that right there is pretty. That would just make a pretty journal cover, wouldn't it? And you could do that. You could put your signature in there and have you a journal and call it good. Okay, so let me move the scoreboard. And let's count, because I had them put together in pairs so that I see, like this page right here, this book page, I think I'm going to it's either going to have to go on the outside, or I'm going to have to put it, cut it down. And same with this page right here. So I'm going to probably put these to the outside. And that one too, maybe that one. I know that this is not going to be my cover. I honestly, shoot. Darn, I kind of did that backwards because I wanted, that can be an inside page. I really wanted one with the turquoise on the outside. And that one I just did my shorter page on, right? That actually looks upside down to me. So let's turn it this way. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, they say. It'll be fine. So, oh, here's my other pages. So let's do a kind of a tentative count. And I think I'm okay with this one on the outside as my cover. Or, oh, wait a minute. This one probably would be a good one to be on the outside. Yeah, this one right here. Okay. And then let me close the book and see how we're looking. No, see, we're going to be a little bit over. I was a little worried about that. But I can't, and see, I can't trim that fold down. I can fold it in a little bit more, but then you're going to have that score line. So, but these are going to be on the outside, so, or this one is. So as we fill up these pages, they'll shrink a little bit. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops, I forgot one. 8, 9. Trying to see if there's an upside. 9. 10, and this is a longer one. This would make 11. So if I put it in here somewhere. Okay, so that's 11. And these are my dyed pages, 12, 13, 14. I got off by 2. I think it's 2 of my dyed papers that I put back in my stack over here to my right that I haven't cut down yet. But I didn't want to cut them down until I knew which ones, where I wanted to put what. So right now we have this. And let me see, this one is still a little long. Yeah, that one I may have to rescore that one. Okay, so I want a dyed page in between here. So this one could be a turquoise page or a gold page, whichever. Let's make it a turquoise page. So I have that one. So we were at 12, I think. So that's 13, 14, 15. I don't know. We were at 11. So that's 12. And then, do I want gold or, yeah, maybe the yellow for this one. I think that doesn't really match that well. Oh, let me slide into frame. That doesn't really match that well. So I could use turquoise or the green on this one. But let's go forward and see what we think. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one's okay. This one, 7. I think I intended on having a green page there, but I like the way that the dyed page looks. And I could turn some of these inside. I could fold them out like, they could be folded out like this. They don't have to be, you know, like that would be up against a white page, but I don't necessarily want that. But I do want some of these colors, like this particular one would be pretty. Well, it is pretty against this green, and I lost count, so that's okay. I'm just trying to see where I need to insert pages. See, like right here, I need a green. Okay. I gotta get that inside. Okay, that tuck was holding me up. So that one, that looks good. This is where I would want a yellow page, I think. And then that would be yellow. We've got green here. Green and white. So am I just missing one? Well, let's find out. Because I think I'm missing 2. But we're going to find out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not in there right. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm missing 2. So I know that I want a gold page. I don't know if I have another one. Like this one. Is this what I wanted in here? Yeah. See, this one maybe it was supposed to be a turquoise page. I do want the yellow right here. Want the yellow right there. Okay, so let's go back and find where that page was. And I can insert a... I don't know where it was. Do you know where it was? That one's good. Okay. Is that too busy? I mean, I think it's okay. This makes it busy. I wish I'd have had a different fabric, but I wonder what this one would look like. Does that look better than this one? Probably. Because it's got the greens and stuff like that. So let's, oh, this is where the turquoise page was going to go. But guess what we're going to do? We're going to do that right there. And then this. And then I'm going to put this on the outside. So I think that looks a little bit better because it's got the green in it. It's got more green. And it's got the turquoise. So that's our first page. So here is a turquoise page. I don't think I've cut it down. So I need to do that. And I was cutting these to about 6.5 anyway. I can't get this to fit in here. Let's see, 6.5. And then countersinking that, and then there we go. Okay, so we've got that page. And then I'm missing one other page. And I don't see it anywhere around here. I don't see another pattern page. I know that I had, let's see. Let's go ahead and put this one in here because we know we want it in here. So where would I be missing? I have 1, 2, I'm counting my pattern pages. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got all of my pattern pages in here. So that one's fine. I think I'm just missing one more dyed paper, or I can put another book page in. So let's see what doesn't look right. So this is 1, and this is 2. I mean, this would look fine without this. Well, but at least this looks better with the turquoise than it did the yellow. Oh, I slid out of frame again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That one looks good. 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I need one more. I don't like this one as my middle page. So I think what I will do is I have another, that gives me, I'm going to do another book page. I think. Because I've got, there's one turquoise. Either that or I want another turquoise in here somewhere. Because I have one, there's 2 greens, and I have 1 yellow, 1 book page, 1 coffee dyed page. Let's see. So I already have 2 greens in here. My inclination is to put a green right here, but I think I don't want a turquoise, so this one may not be able to be my middle page unless I put like a book page in here. So let's dig in the book. Although I love my dyed papers, and I have another turquoise. I would like a yellow one because that's not going to look good with this section, but I also could flip this back on itself like this way. I could flip it back like that. And then all we would have in here is just a solid blue or turquoise page. Because the front of my book is turquoise, right? So I would like to have a little more turquoise than not. And that's not what I have right now. So, I think that's all the pages that we'll need. This one I cut really short, but it makes a good center. Yeah, that yellow is going to have to go there. because the green has to go here. The only other thing that would look good is the green. Where else do I have a green one? Let me see if I can sub out a blue one where I have a green one. See, I would like a green one there, but there's one green. I wonder how the blue would look with those birds. Not horrible, but not as good as the green. So we're going to keep the green there. So yeah, I'm going to do, and I have a yellow one right here, so I don't want another yellow one. So let's do either flip this one this way. I mean, now we may flip it back over and it just has to be, because this is what this page is going to look like if I flip it this way. And that blue doesn't really match this page. This feels upside down to me. There really is no right way. Okay, so if I flipped it over, does it matter? No, because you still have the blue right here. But this, you have the background. But this one looks, well, it looks upside down, I mean, regardless of how we have it. Do I have all of the flips? I have one flip here. I think my inclination is to put the flips to the right side. Okay, there's one flip, there's one flip. So I'm going to turn that one this way anyway, regardless of what I put in the center. And I could do this. No, because then it's not against the yellow. But wait. I could take this yellow out and put a blue right here. I got to cut the blue still. I got to cut the blue. I could have the blue here and then have the yellow here. And then this flip could go whichever way it wants to go. What do we think of that? Does that look better? I would end up with a, not really, because the blue looks better. The yellow looked better, since this page is shorter, the yellow looked better in the background, regardless of which way we had the paper. So I think I'm going to leave the yellow in there. And then let's look at our book pages. Because would you do the blue or the book page? You tell me what, I mean, I know I can't hear you and I've got to make a decision. But out of the signatures that I've already cut out, I could definitely use this one. Oh, look, I could use this one. And this has a solid yellow. Let's see how that one looks. Instead of the blue. I mean, that obviously looks okay with that one. Well, it's backwards, I'm sorry. It opens this way. So it would be like this, and then like this. So, and then here we have this yellow right here. Is there anywhere else I can add a blue? I have the blue here. Oh, I do have two blues. They're just back to back. Okay, so I don't need another blue. I need another green. That's what I'm missing, is the green. Or a page like this. Right here. That gives me a stark white middle page, though, I think. Doesn't it? It does. Well, it has a flip, maybe. But that gives me a stark white middle page. Okay, so let's go back and look. I got to cut that book page down. Hold on. Time out. That should be easy because I think it only has to be cut height-wise. We may trim it down. Let's see. I'm trimming it to 10 inches tall. Okay. Let's see what it measures. It measures a little over 7, so I am going to have to cut it down a little bit this way. And I don't know if I did the other book page like that. I can't remember. So let's put it together and see what sticks out. So we're sliding that in there. That looks fine with that. What did we do to the other side? That looks fine, and that looks fine. So, okay, so let's kind of get them packed in here like this. And I usually take my ruler if I can find it. And I pack down the center as much as I can. And then let's see what's sticking out. Well, I can't get my ruler back out. Okay. The book is wanting to lean forward. Okay, we have a little bit sticking out. Let me get this ruler out of here. We have a little bit sticking out, but I don't know that I'm not worried about it. I've got this page. The only other page I could do anything about is this book page right here. And let me see if I cut it down to 7. Let me see how it measures. Yeah, I cut it down right at 7. So I could take a little off of that one. Just a hair. Off of this one. Okay. Because it is towards the center, so it's a little longer. And that just slides right back in there. And then I think it should just be this. What's this one? Okay, so that one sticks out and that one sticks out. These two right here. That scrapbook paper, that scrapbook paper. And then this one that's folded, which if it really bothers me, I can tuck in a little further. I can fold it in further. But then you have that harsh crease line. So I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and sew it in. I've got, look at the variety of sizes of pages I have. Now, I was going to get out my, I have my thing of dyed, sorry, it's plastic and it's, there we go. Here's some of my coffee dyed papers. And I have some coffee dyed doilies and coffee filters. Well, that doily's already cut in half. I have that one I could add somewhere. It's really tattered. I have a... I was thinking about just having some extra little bits in there. As a matter of fact, while I have this out, I'm going to go ahead and put up the rest of, this is the coffee dyed paper I didn't use. So let's see if we want to put this coffee dyed doily anywhere. And then it would just be an extra page. You know what? It's too tall and I'm not going to cut it down. So that was a no. Because see, I would have to cut it. Well, wait a minute. I could do this, fold it this way, and then cut down the tattered part, right? That one kind of folded in on itself. Let me see if I can straighten this out to where it would fold right and be centered. So it would be something like this. And I would just cut this top section off right here. And it would just be an extra little page somewhere. Like there, or, well, not there. It could be an extra page here. I don't want it to hide the birds. I'm almost thinking there. And definitely not with the bright yellow. And then that's the center. So, I'm not crazy about this right here. So I'm wondering if I should put this in the center. And then, no, because that, I don't want it, no, that would like add a full other page. I wasn't looking for a full page. I was just looking for little bits and pieces to put in. I cut up most of my envelopes, or I would stick in little envelopes, or I always think I'm going to do that, and then I never get them together before the video, so I never end up adding them. But I do have, I do have some envelopes that I could stick in. They're just like white. I have, because they're fun to add. I just, like with the blue, like this one would be fun. Well, it doesn't really match that blue, but I could, if I put this in here and I sewed it together, the only problem is that that's going to be sealed down. And you'd have like this right here. Unless I cut that flap off, and then we'd have a little pocket there, and that would be fun. Let's look at some of the other ones that I have options. Okay, this one's just gray. This one's already torn down. I don't want that one. That one's gray. I was hoping I'd have one of these big blue ones, but I think I opened them all up, which that's actually okay. This one's pretty tattered. Because I was thinking I could do this. And then I can trim this up like this. Like trim that piece off. And then I add, but it's not the same color blue. This is more of a little bit more of an aqua blue. So I could do that. I may trim, like I said, I may trim that off and sew it in this way. Let me trim it off. And then we'll see if we like it. And then this one would be a little more, you know, it's not a full-on junk journal. But, you know, because a junk journal, you're going to add lots of odds and ends to it. I do have some flashcards that handy that I could use. But I really want it just to be something functional. And I would add it like, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so that would be easier to get into that pocket from that page. But what you would do is you'd see it from this side. So it would just be part of this page. That page already has a flip. So maybe I need to do one that doesn't have a flip, like this one. So I could put it here. And I could do a gray one. There's nothing wrong with this gray one. If we just put it on the right day. Right? Like something like this. Like here. Or what about this? What about this one doesn't have a flip. So I could put that here. And you can cut up this. You can cut this, like fold it in half and then cut it. But see, this is already torn, so I would cut it off. Just like we did the other one. So let's do these two. I want to start using my envelopes more. I also have, this month, Allison's challenge is die cuts. And I was trying to think of some die cuts that I had that were big enough. And I know I have some, but I was trying to think of something that I had that was big enough to sew in so that that page would already have a die cut. But right off the top of my head, I can't think of one. So I think I'm gonna do this and then have this side be the pocket. Does that look all right there? Did I give enough space in between those? Because if not, I could put it on one of these like blander pages, like this one, kind of bland. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so I don't want to, I want those to stay in the center. So when I'm tapping down my pages, I don't want to tap them down to the bottom, although there's nothing wrong with them being at the bottom. Okay, so this one's in the middle. And what did I do with that other one? Here it is. This one's not quite in the middle, but we're gonna make it in the middle. And then that should be it. Okay, here we go. Now I'm gonna do something a little bit different, and I'm gonna punch the holes. I keep forgetting. Let me paper clip these together. So that I don't have to keep messing with them. And that they don't fall out of their order. Oh, it stuck to my finger. Okay. I'm alright. Do you ever ask people, do you have fever with those fits? See, like this one right here is shorter, so it's not centered. But now I just pulled it out of the center of the pack. I'm gonna choose not to worry about that. Okay? Because those pages were a little shorter than the scrapbook pages were. They were already shorter. I didn't cut them down shorter. They just were already shorter. So I have that together. And then what I was going to do is punch holes in my spine. I always forget. I would like to punch a hole at the top just to give, and put an eyelet in there, just to give me the option to dangle something from there if I want to. I know that Elizabeth does that. I know that she puts a hole, or maybe she does like a little threaded loop or something like that. But I know that Brooke and Allison and all them, sometimes they'll add an eyelet up top. I'm thinking that if I add an eyelet, I can either put a bulb pin in there or whatever. But I think I'm going to, I usually just poke through. I don't usually punch, but I am going to punch that top hole. And I have my chomp right here. And I had some fun colors. Let me make sure this is the top of my book. Yeah, this is the front. I haven't put the ribbon on yet, so that's throwing me off. So I want to, let's move out of the way, little eyelets. I've got it set on the 1/8. Yeah. The smallest one. And I need to mark, maybe I need to mark it because my fabric is over my book. So let me see if I can find a pencil somewhere. I generally have one, or let me just use a little marker. How about this little green dude right here? And because all I want to do is mark where I want it, and I want it pretty close to the top, but I don't want to cut that fabric off, so I just want it to mark. I want it to fold that under and mark like right there. That's where I want the hole. So that way I can see it when it comes time to... Is that far enough from the top? Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to... And you can't see this, but I'm going to line it up because I'm going to get down here. Where I can see. Okay. Oh no, look what I did. I punched a hole in my back cover. Oh, wow. How did I miss that? Here's my green mark. Well, guess what we're going to do? We're going to put an eyelet right there. No, we're not. We're going to pretend it didn't happen. And I'm going to put something over that. Okay. All right, here's what not to do. I thought I saw, it must have been a shadow. Because I'm sitting here looking, I'm down at eye level looking at this little green dot. Or what I thought was the little green dot. And I punched. And it was the wrong green dot. All right, that looks better. We're gonna have holes all in this journal. Well, alrighty then. So don't do that unless you want a hole in the back, which, I mean, hey, maybe I can find something fun to make with that. But I think I can cover it, and it's on the back, and I'm not that worried about it. But it kind of stinks all at the same time. So let me get an eyelet. I think I'm just going to use a, I may use a gray one. Or I could just use, I'll use a white one. Yeah. I have other colors somewhere, but I didn't really want to fool with it. You know what? I think I have to do it with the bigger. I do. I have to do it with the 3/16. I forgot these eyelets, so now I gotta do this all over again. Okay. Okay. I don't want to get it too close to the top or it'll tear the thing. Okay, so that tells me that I shouldn't punch holes, my holes. I'm just going to do it the way I normally do it. I put that thing away and I still need it. Okay, I put it on the floor. So now what I'm going to do is do this to where it runs the eyelet, it sets the eyelet right there. And I did get really close to the top there. But let me get down here where I can see again. And I think I'm in it. And squish it down really hard. And see what it looks like. No, I didn't get it through all the way. But I think it'll hold. I think it will hold. And we're all good. I'm tearing up everything on my desk. So, here's something for you to put in the comments. How would you hide that? What would you put on the front and what would you put on the back? Obviously, I mean, some kind of applique or something like that would work. I'm just trying to get these to sit better together. There we go. I've got another one that I'm going to put right here. All right. Here we go. So I'm going to put this, the binder at the very, the signature at the very bottom. Let me get that paper clip off the bottom. I'm going to put it all the way to the bottom, and then I can barely access that hole right there. And you can barely see where the eyelet went in. And that way I can fit something in there, because otherwise the signature is going to be in the way. Maybe not. Maybe I'll center it. Maybe I can't make up my mind today. Okay, so now I need to put another paper clip and hold it onto the cover. Sorry, my hands are all up in your business. There we go, like that. And I can access that hole to put something in it, and my pages are not sticking below the thing. So there we go. Now I'm going to use, I have this thread and this thread, and I have this thread. I think I'm going to use this one. If I use, oh, I also thought about doing, because this has this gold in it, and most of you said not to use that trim piece. So I may put this on the outside. I think that will match. If I put it on the inside, well, I'm not going to open it right now, because I was thinking it wasn't going to match because the inside flower page is just blue. But this rickrack, if I have it here, then I was thinking about using this color. But I think I like this blue regardless. So This is a little bit darker blue. This one actually matches the cover better. So let's get out 3 lengths of that. So let's go 1, 2, 3, and cut. I always give myself a hair more. I have stuff falling everywhere. All these little scrap bits of paper and my ruler and my scissors and everything. So I've got my needle in here. Oh, I need my pokey tool. Come here, pokey tool. And I'm going to, that's the needle and thread. Now let's get our holes poked. So what I normally do is try to get this, I try not to open it all the way like I just did. I didn't open it all the way, but I want the center of the signatures as close to the center of that spine as I can get. Let me check the bottom. Yep, that's pretty centered, because there's the spine and there's the signature right here. See, you want it kind of centered. And what I typically do is hold it with my thumb like this, and I don't measure, I just punch and pray. So, and I do it very slowly. I'm wiggling my hand like this. And you kind of can start to see where it's coming through. I don't know if you can see that or not. And if it's centered sideways with the spine, then I go ahead and I'm just going to kind of, what we call in the South, wallow a hole. I'm rotating it around like that and make it a little bit bigger hole, just so it makes it easier for my needle to go in. And then I do like 1 thumb length in, or 1 thumbnail length, depending on how long my nails are that month. And I do the same thing. Right there. And I want to come out in the center. Now you can punch your holes. That's not quite centered, but it's centered enough. You can punch your holes in the spine and line them up and mark your pages and all that fun stuff, and get out a little template, make a template and line it up. But I find it easier just to do it this way. So I've always done it this way, and I probably will unless somebody changes my mind. And I don't know that that would happen. That page is splitting. That center page, scrapbook paper, is splitting, believe it or not. Okay, so I want 1 thumbnail width. And I'm going to come up, hopefully, I'm trying to go in straight, but my spine is, let me do it this way. Nope. I'm trying to go in straight, but when I'm holding it up so that you can see, it makes it hard for me to go in straight. So let me see if I can get it backed out and in through the, nope, it still wants to go through that same hole. So let me try one more time and stand it up. And see if I can twist the spine a little bit, because it's wanting to twist towards the front, if that makes sense. There we go. Now we're cooking. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of wallow that hole a little bit and then pull it out. Okay. That was hard on my hand. So let's get the needle out. And maybe this will thread easily. Let me get the end that's not frayed. There is not an end that's not frayed. This one was less frayed. Nope. Let me twist it. Got a pretty big-eyed needle, so it should go through. There we go. Okay. So I want my strings on the outside, so I start in through the outside in the middle. Man, that hand is cramping. So I'm going to start right here. Okay. Let's try that again. I had to reline up the pages. I had to take it all apart and tape those two pages together. I don't know why I'm trying to do this, thinking I can do this left-handed, and I can't. I had to line those, tape those two center pages because they tore. And so now I had to reline it up. I actually lined it up fairly well and repunched the holes. So let's see what happens when we... Let's start from the center and see if we can get, yeah, okay. So the needle's going through if I start from the center. So I've got it in the right, got it lined up right. But I want to start from the outside. It's harder to start from the outside than it is the inside. Can't imagine why the page is tore. Okay, so I got the first part in. Yay, that's the hard part. Now, I want to go up through the top. And this one should go a little easier because we're going from the inside. Let me do it right-handed and not pull my string through because I can't do it left-handed. There we go. Got that. And I want to pull, I need to hold this bottom string and I'm going to pull the threads. I don't know which one is the top and which one's the bottom. There we go. Because I just needed some more thread, but I didn't want to pull this middle one through. So then I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. And hopefully that one goes in. We're going to flip it over. I did verify that my... Oh, I opened it too much. Darn it. We're not lined up. We're not lined up here. There we go. The spine is sitting crooked ever since I tried to fiddle with it to see if I wanted to smush the spine down to make it wider. And ever since I did that, the spine sits funny. I don't know how else to word that, but it sits kind of cockeyed. So, the pages aren't wanting to line up in there. Let me go through here again and get it lined back up. Nope. This book is going to look like Swiss cheese by the time I get done with it. Well, I had it in the right spot. I went down at an angle. Okay, that's what. All right, so let me try that. Going through the outside again. Not moving the book around a lot. Maybe it'll go through where it's supposed to. Oh, it did perfectly. Okay, good deal. All right, now that you got in all three holes, that's the hard part. Now it doesn't really matter. Now what you want to do is get it back through the center part without puncturing the thread or this. You don't want to pull that through either. Okay. So you want to go back through that same hole without, there we go, perfect. Dead on. Without splitting your threads. So I can take the needle off now. I'm going to put it up so I don't end up with it in my foot. And then I'm going to, I can take these off now because I want my book to line up flat with my spine. And I can flatten it out. Now what I want to do is pull a little bit off that side and a little bit off here. I think I might have split the thread a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to pull it pretty tight. Now, if you did split your thread and you pull pretty tight, you're going to end up, it might tear your thread might tear or pop. So I've got one tie. Let me look at the center and see how that looks. That looks fine. You can see I made another hole there that I didn't intend on, but that's okay. It looks really good from the inside. So now we're going to finish. Now we're just going to finish tying it and make a knot. There. And I do a double knot and make promises about putting on beads and things like that, and I don't ever do it. So I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna tie it in a bow or a double bow. I don't have as much excess thread this time as I do sometimes. Here we go. All right, so if I didn't edit it out, I showed you what not to do on multiple occasions, but I'm going to edit some of it out because the video stopped. I hit the pause button, but I paused too long because I had to, I'm just going to double tie this so that it stays tied, because I'm not going to add anything to it. If I add anything to it, I'm going to add it up here on this eyelet. But I found I knew where it was. My original craft room where I did all my vinyl and jewelry making back in the day. Okay, so this should be the front of the journal. I did double check, make sure everything was upright. And I can access my, eyelet. And here's the journal. So we went kind of around ourselves to get to, you know, what's that saying? Anyway, so that envelope looks okay. It's got a few extra holes punched in it, but no, and that paper has, but it's okay. You can always washi this. If you mess up, it's okay. You just keep at it until eventually you'll get it, right? So I like all of this. I like that. I like that. I probably should have pushed that through a little further, but it got jumbled up in the mess. But anyway, this is going to give us a pocket right here, and we can cover this. It'll be just a little extra on that page because that page didn't have much on it. Here's my center, and then here is the other part of that, and then this part you'll be able to see through unless you cover it, so that'll be fun to use. And then here's this. And this one's just kind of blank. And then we've got that page. That looks really good together. That turned out well. And then this one turned out well. And then this one's just kind of a white page. So I knew I was going to have white pages on the back sides of the scrapbook paper, but that's okay. This one looks good together. I love that. And this one looks good together. And then we have this. So that looks good. It's very small because the other side, it got pulled through the other side much more. But we can just use it as a little flip. We don't even have to put anything in the pocket. It's okay. And then there's the back. I don't even know if we're going to get to this last page because September only has 30 days in it. But now we need to put, if we're going to do it, I still haven't found that ribbon. I would like to, if I can get this to semi-cooperate. I did pull up the back. I noticed I pulled the back of the fabric off of it. Actually, it'd be easier just to tuck that back under. But I want to put this rickrack on it. And then it will look semi-finished. So I need to get this tape off of here. Or cut it, whichever. There we go. It usually just slides off. Okay, and then I did try to combine my my glues, but that did not work. My Fabri-Tac, I tried to combine them, and they said, no, thank you. So, see, that didn't turn out too bad. And what I was talking about earlier, and I didn't want to unwind the book or open the book up. I was thinking about I debated on putting this on the inside or the outside. So I didn't want it on the inside because all that's blue, but see, we have this gold here. So that kind of ties in the gold if I decide to use this gold pom-pom trim. Or this brown. I don't know which. But right now, all I'm trying to do is get this on here. And there we go. Alright, so which one is going to cooperate? I cleaned out both nozzles. They already are goopy, and I haven't even used, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't even use them yet, and they're already goopy. So let me do this a little at a time so I can unfold that and get it to stick. I want it to, well, I'm not going to be able to really see the phrase anyway because the rickrack's going to hide it. I just want the rickrack to look straight. That's why I'm doing this. Just to straighten out the material. And then put a little bit there. Okay. So now I'm going to run a bead of fabric tack all the way down. Right at the edge of that fabric. And then cap it really quick so it doesn't spew out too much. And then put this, whoop, it's twisted. Put this rickrack on. Just like that. And I'll trim it at the, trim off that fray at the top. And then I'll cut it right there. And then I'll put this up, and we're going to make, I'm going to make some fall. Oh, what I was telling you is I got my, my shipping station cleaned out and ready to go. When I used to have an Etsy shop, I had a table in my other crap. We have a front room that was like an office originally. When my husband, he grew up in this house, so this house belonged to his parents. So anyway, when they started their business, they had this office in this front room. They enclosed a front porch. And so that was my original craft room. It still has my heat press and all my vinyl stuff, all my jewelry making stuff. So anyway, now I have access to that all again. And so anyway, I like this. I think this will work. And I've got my thing up here. I don't know that I have any bulb pins handy. Oh, but you know what I do have? Not that one, but I do have some of those Tim Holtz wallpaper flowers. I want to put something on here, but I don't know what. That would have looked good if this wasn't on there, but that definitely not. But I will find something, or an applique or something like that. Or I may just put the pom-pom trim down. The gold matches and this kind of brown matches too, so I'm not sure which one I want to use. I'll kind of play around with that and see. And I want to see what I'm going to end up putting on here first before I make that commitment. So anyway, all right, well, I don't know if I would say I hope you enjoyed this. I did kind of mess it up. I'm going to edit some of that out, but we ended up with a pretty straight signature, and we just kind of had to go around our elbow to get to our face, right? And then this will be fun to work in. All right, well, I will, I appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for spending your time with me, and you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.